Hello and welcome to Mad Old Goes Racing. And yes, I took a couple of weeks out. It turned out to be a couple of months, but well, things happen. But whatever. What are we doing? Oh yes, today we are back in Assetto Corsa, having a look at a couple of cars that came out 6 weeks ago. I think the first one, maybe 7, maybe 8. I'd have to look back, but. And the second one came out a couple of weeks afterwards, and the reason I'm looking at two different cars today is simply the fact that for some reason United Racing Design and Racing Studio both decided to release a version of a GT3 Lexus, so I'm going to have a look at both of those today. I'm going to look at the URD car first, even though it actually released second, I think. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, I think the Racing Studio car came first. If I'm talking bollocks, I apologise, but it's been a while. I've forgotten how to talk. I have to say the sitting here, the loop for this is a little bit horrible. It's got a big lump missing in it, and it's a bit loud as well. But whatever. Right. URD, it's called the Rekus RC-F GT3 2019 car. Comes with 5 liveries. One thing you will know about this, or will have to know, is it is a hard requirement because it uses some of the enhanced physics from the shaders patch, but it has to run with 0.1.79 or newer, so make sure you got that installed before you start, otherwise it won't go. We'll have a quick look at it in the showroom. In terms of modelling, it all looks fine. I haven't noticed anything particularly out of order about it, no really horrible angles or anything, so quite nice and smooth. So let's have a quick look, and we'll come back in about 20 seconds-ish, maybe 25. Right, that was a quick look round it in the showroom, and let's try driving it. And I will say I haven't actually done a complete lap of this car yet. I've done a couple of half laps whilst just checking out a couple of things because it's been so long since I've fired up AC, but certainly sounds a little less strange from inside the car. It's just have a listen, and no, it's not too bad. There's no obvious big gap in the loop or anything, so quite a deep throaty sounding engine notes. There's a little bit of reverb through that corner, strangely. Again, there it sounds like there's a little bit of reverb being added over the top. It does actually make it sound a little bit odd. Feels nicely balanced, although it has got all the electronic aids, so it shouldn't be trying to squirm about and be too bad. Let's see if I remember how fast to try and get through here. Two stabs at the throttle, not good, but there you go. Tyres are still probably a bit cold. there. There was an apex there somewhere. That was several feet away from where I was aiming. Just having a look to see what sort of speed I was getting at the end of the straight there without that particularly not great exit onto the hanger straight, but it does feel really nicely balanced, quite lively through the FFB. And let's see what sort of lap time we put in as our very first attempt at a full flying lap. I said I'm a little bit out of practice, as they say. Again, slightly odd sound with that bit of extra reverb added down the bottom end. All that air really nicely. See if we can get it right through here and not have to go on and off the throttle a couple of times. That was much better. Does feel really nicely balanced. Go down the extra gear to try and drag the front end into the apex a bit more. Was maybe a bit cack-handed, but it didn't do anything stupid. This is usually the sign of a well-balanced car. You drive like a cock and it still does the right thing. So 2.86, not bad. I'll just do one more lap just to finalise getting my head around what it's doing. May not be any faster, but all in all, a really nice little car, nicely balanced, give me plenty of feedback through the FFB. I know the ACC version of the Lexus has a good reputation for being a really nicely balanced car and a good car for sort of general all-round use if you're a bit new to racing, or you just want a well-balanced car that's not going to kill you at every opportunity. Then this seems to match that sort of attitude quite nicely. So lose a couple of tenths through there, not the best maggots Becketts I've ever done. Better through there that time. Yeah, it's very nice. Certainly a well-behaved car, even when doing silly things. Gets a little bit of rotation through Is it Stowe? The one at the end of the hangar straight? My brain's gone, don't worry. But yeah, overall, a really nice car. So, that's the United Racing Design version of a Lexus GT3 car, and we'll be back in a second. Having a look at the Racing Studios version. So, back in a mo. And we're back. Now, this is the Racing Studio version of Lexus. This is their GT-M Lux V8. This is a 2023 car. I don't think it makes a lot of difference. I'm not sure when they last raced this particular car. Anyway, the Lexus, I thought it hadn't raced for a couple of years. It may still be racing in Japan for obvious reasons, it being a Japanese car. Although, having said that, I'm not really sure if it's like the luxury version of whichever brand it is. I'm never sure. It's so many. Whether it's mostly aimed at the American market as a Lexus, so whatever. Right, again, it's nicely modelled. No obvious signs of any problem. I'm not sure if it's got a slightly, just a net higher polygon count or budget for this version. It just, whether it's something in the shaders they're using or something, it just looks a little bit crisper. I don't know. One of those weird things that you see now and again and go, is it, isn't it? Not sure. If I could see them both on screen at the same time, I might be able to tell, but whatever. But we will, even though we're having a look at it like this, we will just nip into the showroom and have a quick look at it there. So back in about 25-ish seconds. Right, things to say about it. Firstly, it does not require the latest shaders patch, the 0179, although it does have some additional bits and pieces that will show up if you have a newer shaders patch. I do actually have a slightly weird issue with the shaders patch, which relates to this little thing next to your race logic thing that shows your race number, your position and your 3-letter name. That if I don't disable a few things in the custom shaders patch, I am actually running the latest version, but unless I go back to 0175 I think it is, I have to disable certain things, otherwise it looks like that, which is extremely strange. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. If you've got a similar problem, tell me, but I keep thinking I must get round to cleaning out my Assetto Corsa and reinstalling everything, because on my other machine I don't have that problem. So it's something specific to what I've got on this machine that is causing that problem. So right, without further ado, I will engage my brain and a first gear, and we'll have a drive in it. It's got a much what's the word I'm looking for? Different sounds to the URD version. I wouldn't like to say which one's more accurate. Taken in isolation, they're both fine. Certainly less low-end additional reverb in this version. The FFB feels a little bit more solid. I don't know if solid's the right word. It's a little bit heavier. I don't think it's got quite as much. No, I think it's a little bit more road vibration feel with the URD version. neither is bad, but there's a subtle difference between the two. This has definitely got more weight to it, or resistance. I'm not sure which way it is really. I believe we're getting some little flashing lights to say we're doing things with our ABS and TC. Up the side of the display there, those little red and blue lights flashing. Rotates a little less on the brakes into there than the URD version, but again, there's nothing particularly bad about the rotation, you just have to be a bit aware of it. This is a little bit more lumpy on the back edge of that curb. I don't know whether I actually ran over the back edge of the curb in the URD version or not, but I didn't like the back edge of that curb a lot, so. Again, I haven't actually done a full lap in this car, despite having bought it 6 weeks ago or whenever it was. Again, really well balanced. I would like slightly less weight in the FFB. I think given the option to turn it down a little bit, I think I would actually reduce it very, very slightly. Like I said, it definitely feels like it's slightly less of the sort of higher frequency road noise coming through. Whether that's something to do with the more advanced CSP based physics, I don't know. Might be, it might not. I'm just driving a car. And I've hit the rev limiter again there. Tyres look to be about the same sort of temperatures as the URD car got to after one lap, so not a lot in it as far as tyre heat goes. I'll have to double check that afterwards, because I don't normally bother to check to see what the tyre temperatures are like other than to go it's a bit blue or it's not blue. Now, I'm not actually going to worry too much about the direct comparison of the lap times, because obviously there are going to be some slight differences between the two cars, although they're on the face of it more or less based on the same thing. Again, really nicely balanced, easy to drive, as you would expect from what should be a reasonably well balanced car from the sort of front engine rear wheel drive. There's all the sort of more front rear cars seem to be well balanced, or balanced in a way that makes them easier to drive, should I say, and less prone to trying to kill you in strange circumstances like the mid-engine cars have an occasional tendency to try and do. All in all, again, a really nice, well developed the greatest piece of cornering I've ever done. Just push the front rather than the back. So if anything, the Racing Studio car is a little bit more understeer biased on its default setup. But certainly not in a way that's going to have you ploughing into every corner unless you push a bit past the limit. The URD car is slightly more oversteer, especially on entry. Didn't feel oversteer on exit at all, but certainly both of those cars are really nice. I wouldn't like to say buy one over the other. If you happen to have already one of the URD cars, or you're more of a URD centric person, shall we say, go with that one. If you're more racing studio side, go with this one. I think I prefer the sound on this one. Slightly less reverb at the bottom end, and which is more accurate, I wouldn't know in terms of sounds, but also certain things set my tinnitus off slightly worse than others, and I think the other car was doing my tinnitus slightly more. So if you're a bit sensitive, you might find it one or other causes more problems for you. But in terms of driving, they're both damn good cars, I will say. Again, there's probably certain things you might be able to, I forgot to have a, see, it's really annoying. That's a light. And then it goes off when you're not escaped, I don't know. In terms of setup options, I presume they're going to be very similar between the two. Few different gear sets. Which is interesting because I thought GT3 cars generally only had one set. Usual tyres, electronics, aero, rear wing, brake bias and power, diff, yeah, sort of the usual things I would expect to see in there. I doubt the other car will be a lot different. I will go and check, but I think overall two really nice cars, and there wasn't a huge difference in price. I think it was about £4.20, I think, for the Racing Studio car, and the URD car was about £3.80, so not a huge difference. Both really nice cars, both drive really well. Like I said, the only potential downside is the fact that you have to have the latest CSP version for the URD car, but that, unless you happen to have some weird issues with your shaders patches, it shouldn't be a problem. But again, as always, having to have certain mods installed for certain other mods is a little bit annoying, but that's the way life seems to be going. So for me, for now, I will say yes, both well worth looking at, and like I said, you probably don't need two different Lexi, but if you happen to be on one side of the fence or the other, if you're not particularly worried about which side of the fence you're on, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference, I don't think. I don't think there's a lot to choose between them, really. Might come down to your personal preference on which you like to support, or it might come down to, does that one sound better to you than the other one? I don't know. But in terms of handling, there's very little to choose between them. Like I said, the Racing Studio car by default felt a little bit heavier in the FFB. The URD car felt like it had a little bit more nuance to it, maybe, in terms of detail. But apart from that, not a lot to choose between them, and whatever handling characteristics they may have, you probably could dial out anything you don't like quite easily. Usually the cars are fairly easy to adjust. Me, I don't know a lot of tuning, so shouldn't make a lot of difference. But for me, for now, that'll do. I'll just sort out the replays and then get around to actually seeing if I can remember how to do a bit of video editing. It's been a while. So for me, for now, enjoy your racing, have fun, and I'll see you soon, I hope. Goodbye. Where's my button?